So I've made a little over $900,000 online by the age of 23. And in this video, I'm going to share with you exactly how I was able to do that. And I'm going to document my story in a way where you can kind of like figure out where you're at in comparison and follow along in that process to eventually get to this point. And just as a forewarning, like this video is not going to contain any edits. Give me 1 second here. I got to close the door. Awesome. This video is not going to contain any edits, any jump cuts. The lighting's probably not going to be perfect, all that fun stuff. And so if you're looking for the perfect video that's going to hit all your dopamine receptors so that the YouTuber that's making it can increase their watch time to the highest level and make as much money as possible by selling their course, like if that's what you're looking for, this probably isn't going to be the video for you. But if you're looking for something that actually gives you like tangible value and can actually help you change your life one day, then that's what I'm going to actually try to give you in this video by sharing my story and just by being raw and authentic with it. So, shoot, dude, where do we even begin? Well, I'm 23 years old now. When I first got into the making money online space, I was 18. And the way in which I discovered making money online was honestly, it goes back even a little bit further because ever since I was like 15 or 16 years old, I knew that I wanted to be successful in some sort of way, in some sort of capacity. I mean, I didn't know exactly what that would look like, but I knew that I wanted to be successful in my life. I knew that I didn't want to just be average, that life was such a blessing that you can't just sit there and live this like average life and not be exceptional at something. I truly believe that God gives everybody some sort of talent. And so I knew for me, I wanted to become exceptional at something. I just didn't know exactly what that was. And so as I started turning 17, 18 years old, I didn't really know what my life was going to look like. Because up until that point, I had just been told by everybody, by teachers, by peers, by family, by literally like everybody that I knew, that the only way to become successful is to get a college degree, go work a regular job, save your money, get a house, have a family and kids, and eventually retire with your 401k. And then you can enjoy 10 to 20 years of your life before you die. And that's a harsh reality because that's honestly not the life that I wanted to live. I knew that I wanted to become exceptional and I knew that I wanted something different. And so as I was finishing up my senior year in high school when I was 18 years old, I started really questioning if the path that I was going down was the right path for me. Because I was basically on track to go to college as a mechanical engineer, finish out college, get a 70 to 80 to 100K per year mechanical engineering job and just do that, build a family, do all that stuff. And certainly some people would argue that that's not a bad life, but I knew that I was meant for more. I knew that I could do more. I knew that I had the talents and the capabilities to truly do something amazing in my life. And that I didn't really want to work some job for some fat boss that would tell me what I can and can't do. And I would have to go to him and beg him for time off. It's just not my style, bro. It's not what I wanted. And so I started questioning this a little bit while I was finishing up my senior year in high school at 18 years old. And ironically enough, at the same time, it's almost like your phone can like hear you and hear what you're thinking and talking about, because at the same time, when I would go on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube, I started seeing subtle videos here and there about like how to make money online, how to become successful, how, like, what business models should you try to make money online. And so like this was kind of happening at the same time, and I almost saw it as like a sign. So finished up my senior year of high school, and I actually started going to college. I kind of played it off. I was just like, you know what? I'll just go to college. I'll just see what it's like for a year, see if it's what I want to do or not. And so I started going to college. And immediately when I got to college, I started looking for ways to make money online in my free time after my college classes and stuff like that was done. So would go to classes, I'd do my homework, I'd do my finals. And then with the limited amount of free time that I had, which was usually like 2 to 3 hours a day, I was looking into ways to make money online. And I think the first ever thing that I tried was drop shipping. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I think that's like the most common one for most people when they get into making money online space is drop shipping. So I tried drop shipping. I think I spent like $200 or $300 on Facebook ads, and I honestly like maybe I could have succeeded with drop shipping. I don't really know, but I think I spent that money and I just panicked because I didn't really have much to my name, and I just stopped. And I didn't get any sales from it, so I just like panicked, turned it off, and just called it a day with drop shipping. And then I think I tried trading a little bit too, just literally for fun, not even like as a business model, just as like something that I could maybe make money with. Because I would see videos on social media talking about like, you should invest in these coins. I didn't really know at all what I was doing, but I was just like, you know what, let's just throw a little bit of money in here and see if we can make money. It really wasn't anything substantial. And I think I probably lost money because you have like fees that you have to spend to put money in and draw money out and stuff like that. So I lost money with that. And then I actually stumbled across doing affiliate marketing. For those of you who know my story, I've talked about this a little bit before, but I actually succeeded a little bit with affiliate marketing and I actually made some decent money with it. But the problem was it wasn't enough for me to actually quit going to college and fully see this as a career path, because the problem with affiliate marketing for anybody who's ever tried it is it's basically impossible to scale to a high level unless you have a massive social media presence or unless you're like an absolute wizard with paid ads, which I wasn't either of those. So basically moved on from that. And I had a pretty dark realization, in fact, two of them that completely changed everything on my making money online journey. So after about 6 months of trying these business models and jumping from business model to business model, jumping from drop shipping to trading to affiliate marketing to also doing a little bit of agency work, I came to a pretty dark realization after about 6 months of doing this. I was halfway through my freshman year of college at this time. It was like January, I think, maybe February of my freshman year of college in 2021. And I started really thinking about the making money online space just in general. And I started noticing some things. I started noticing the fact that you had all of these gurus on the internet that were telling you all these different business models. You had the guy on TikTok that was telling you to go do drop shipping. Then you had the guy on Instagram that was telling you to go do trading. Then you had the guy on YouTube that was telling you to go do an SMMA. And so I was like, wait, why are all these people saying that they have the best business model? But the way that they actually make most of their money is by selling a course or a coaching program. Why is that the case? And so I started really putting the pieces together and starting to understand that like you have all these different gurus on social media that are telling you all of these different business models, but the reality is the way that they make most of their money is actually just by selling you a course or a coaching program. Sure, they might make some money with the business model that they're talking about, but it's definitely not where they make most of their money. And even if it was the way that, even if it wasn't the way that they made most of their money, every single one of them is doing this. So it's a clear sign that it has to be a good business model. If it wasn't a good business model, then maybe only half of them, for example, would be doing this. So I started putting that piece together. I started really thinking about that. And at the same time, too, I had another realization. I started connecting with people who are also trying to make money online for themselves, other young guys and other online communities. I started talking to some of these people, and I found some people that were making money with drop shipping. I found some people who are making money consistently with trading. I found some people that were making $5,000 a month with an agency. And so I was just sitting here thinking, I'm like, what makes them different? And I had the realization at the time that the reason why I wasn't making money with these business models wasn't because they were inherently bad. Like drop shipping, you can make money with it. Trading, you can make money with it. Building an agency, you can make money with it. Affiliate marketing, you can scale it to a high level. It's not that the business models were inherently bad. It's that I lacked the skill sets. It's that I lacked the knowledge. I lacked the experience to make them work. And so these two realizations happened for me literally like at the same time. And this led me down the path of acquiring the skill set of sales, and I'll talk about why. So if the best way to make money online is by selling a course or a coaching program, you should do that. But the problem is you shouldn't do that unless you actually have something that you're an expert in. If you don't have an expertise in anything, which I definitely didn't, then it makes no sense to start a coaching program or an online course. Because there certainly are some scammers out there that sell courses and coaching programs, but there are people that actually do it the right way and ethically. And so I came to this realization. I'm like, well, if I want to make money, I should be doing what these people are actually doing and not what they're saying. So I should start a course or a coaching program, and I should do it in an ethical way. But the problem is how can I create a course or a coaching program when nobody on earth would want to buy from me? I think I was 19 at the time. I'm a 19-year-old kid. I live in a college dorm room that literally looks like a prison cell. I am majoring in mechanical engineering, and I hate classes. It's not that I hate learning, it's that I hate learning forced things on me. And I'm not in the best shape ever. Like, who would ever want to buy something from me? Who would ever want to listen to my advice? And so I had to get real with myself. I had to say, okay, well, then instead, what I should do is I should go in and work with an already existing business that does have those things, that is an expert in something, whether it's making money, whether it's fitness, whether it's relationships, whether it's business. I should go in and I should work with somebody that's running one of these kind of businesses, and I should help them behind the scenes. And this pairs directly with the second realization that I had, that I lacked the skill sets, because it meant that I could go inside of a business, I could build my skill sets, and I could get better and I could improve on things. And then when the time makes sense, then eventually I can run my own business down the line. And so this is exactly what I did. After failing with a bunch of different business models for 6 months, I decided to stop trying to start my own business, stop trying to do all these trends that all these other gurus are talking about, and instead just go inside and work for an already existing business that's in the coaching and the online course space and help them monetize them and make more money. Somebody that's actually doing it the right way too, not just like some scammer, which is really important, because there are, like I said, there are some bad ones out there, but there also are some good ones. And so this is what I started putting my focus towards. And so what I started doing is I started becoming a DM appointment setter. You might have heard of appointment setting before. It's basically you work with an influencer and you take care of the messaging on their behalf. So an influencer is posting content on Instagram, for example, is probably the most common one. And they're selling some sort of online course or coaching program through their Instagram channel. And these people are posting content. And so they're getting people that are commenting, that are liking their posts, that are DMing them, and that are interested in working with the person that's selling the coaching. However, the coach doesn't have time to sit inside of their Instagram DMs all day, because they actually have a business to run. They have to help people. They have to create content. They have to manage a team. They don't have time to just literally sit in their Instagram DMs all day and answer questions from people and send messages to people. And so what I did is I started going into working with influencers and helping them with this piece of becoming an appointment setter. All I would do, go into their DM account on their behalf, answer questions, ask other people questions to qualify them to make sure that they were actually a good fit for the offer that we were selling. And if they were a good fit, and if they had money, and if they wanted help, then I would book them for a call with the influencer. The influencer would then take that call. He would sell that person. And if he closed that person, I would get paid 5 to 10% of the money that he collected on that call. This is called appointment setting. If you don't know what it is, you can definitely do some research into it. But what I started off doing is DM appointment setting after these like 6 months of jumping from business model to business model. And so I started to actually find a little bit of a breakthrough with this, because again, it capitalizes on the best business model on the planet, which is selling a course or a coaching program and creating content to do so. And second, it also allowed me to build my skill set and get better over time. So my income incrementally increased as I got better at this skill of appointment setting. And I have videos on my channel talking about appointment setting. If you guys want me to create specific videos about any subject that I cover inside of this video, I'm more than happy to do so. But essentially then, I started doing appointment setting, and I started making anywhere from 3 to 5K per month with appointment setting. And this was big for me. At the time, I was going to college. I was finishing up my first year in college. So this was, again, probably like February, March type of time frame. On top of that, too, I was actually working as well 30 hours a week as a lifeguard. And so I was very, very busy with those two things alone, with college, working as a lifeguard. And I had to time manage very well, but I was able to squeeze in an extra 2 to 4 hours per day. I really had to stack the weekends, right? Because no classes. But but I had an extra 2 to 4 hours a day that I would literally just dedicating to grinding as hard as I could, appointment setting, and just trying to make as much money as possible. And so I started making anywhere from 3 to 5K per month with this. First months were a little bit slower. But as I started getting better, as I started getting more experience with it, I started making about $5,000 a month, just under it, in fact. And so I vividly remember this. I was finishing up my exams for my freshman year of college. And I was so pissed off because I had to do all of this studying. I had to do all of this BS homework and all this stuff. And I was just so relieved after finishing my final exam of my freshman year of college that I could just spend more time trying to make money online. And so this realization, I started really thinking about it. I'm like, wait, I actually love doing this stuff. I love the idea of progressing. I love the idea of understanding that as long as I get better, I will continue making more and more money over time. Because while I was in college, it's not that I don't like learning. I think I said this earlier in this video. It's not that I don't like learning. It's that I don't like learning information that's forced upon me, where somebody says, you have to learn this thing. You have to practice this thing. I was interested in exploring my own ideas. Exploring things like making money online, exploring things like fitness, exploring things even like theology. I was very interested in stuff like that. And so I was just relieved to have finished my freshman year of college because I knew that I could just dedicate way more time to making money online. And I could really just focus on like getting better and improving and learning more and figuring out how I can do things better, figuring out how I can be more persuasive, figuring out how I can improve my skill sets. And so then after doing that, I actually started working with a mentor to help me further develop my skill of sales even more. And this mentor, his name was Brad. And so at the same time, I was in online communities. I actually had a guy reach out to me and we started talking together. His name is Alex. Shout out to Alex if you're watching this. We started a business together. We started a business together where I would take care of all of the appointment setting and all of the sales inside of the business. And he would take care of the rest of the stuff with posting content on social media, fulfilling to clients, doing all that fun stuff. And that business we started required me to build more skill sets to get better, which was only possible now that I finished my freshman year of college and I had way more time on my hands to actually learn and acquire new skill sets. And so long story short, I basically moved on from being an appointment setter to starting to transition into doing closing inside of this new startup business that I was business partners with Alex in. And so closing was a completely new skill and a completely new experience. And it was honestly really difficult in the beginning for me. If you don't know what closing is, it's like actually now getting on the Zoom meetings, actually now getting on the phone calls for 30 minutes to an hour and selling over the phone. And I actually have, maybe one day I'll release them on YouTube. I'm honestly too embarrassed to do it, but I have some of my sales calls from 2021 and 2022. And I look back at them now and I'm just like, dude, oh my God. Like it's actually painful to watch it. So I keep that folder hidden away on my computer and I don't, maybe one day you guys will see that. Fuck it. If you guys want it enough, I'll release or I'll make a video of me critiquing some of my old sales calls. But basically, I started transitioning into closing. And so this was an entirely new skill set. And so with working with the mentor, with having this extra free time, I spent $3,000 on a mentor, by the way, which was a lot of money for me at the time. With working with this mentor, with learning the skill of closing, with having this extra free time, I was able to start advancing myself into doing closing in high ticket sales. And we actually started making anywhere from 15 to 20K per month inside of that business. Again, I was getting paid about 50% of that as a full cycle sales rep, doing both closing and appointment setting. And so things started to cook. And then from there, we started scaling to 30K, 40K, 50K per month. Shout out to Alex. We had a really good organic system with him posting content on social media, me taking care of the appointment setting and the closing. And we started cooking pretty hard. And I was getting paid anywhere from about 15 to 20K per month on that offer that I was working on. And so at the time, I was incredibly blessed. Everything was going really good. And like with this, I started really living the lifestyle that I felt like that I wanted at the time. I took an entire trip to Mexico, Playa del Carmen in Mexico, where I was with me, Alex's girlfriend, and then two other clients that we were working with at the time. One's name is Josh and one's name is Ben. And we all five, we went to Playa del Carmen, Mexico. We got an amazing Airbnb and we stayed there for 5 months. Or not 5 months. I'm stupid. 5 weeks. And it was an amazing experience because basically my entire day was structured of like waking up. I would then take a bunch of sales calls. I would take like 4 or 5 sales calls. I would close as many as I could in that day. We'd make a lot of money. Me and Alex, we'd be hyped. The people that we were also working with, the Josh and the Ben guy, they were also running their own businesses. They would make money. And then after like 1 or 2 o'clock, we either go to the gym and then go out and eat for the day and just like chill. Or what me, Ben, and Josh did a lot is we went scuba diving a ton. And so like that was honestly really, really fun. And that was a really good experience. Doing that for like a month and just surrounding yourself with your boys was amazing. And then I transitioned into, and then I went back home, back to Wisconsin, which is where I'm from, my hometown. And then I did that again, actually, in the Canary Islands, like 6 months later. And we did that for 6 weeks. It was me, Ben, and Josh. And so that was an amazing experience. And so I really got to see the taste of like what could actually happen when you go all in with making money online, of having like the financial time and the location freedom and just being able to do that. And so I say this to say, I finished up my freshman year of college to kind of get back on track here. I finished up my freshman year of college. I was making like 3 to 5K per month. I started transitioning into doing closing in that summertime where I had all that extra time. Throughout the middle of the summertime, once I started making more money, I told my parents that I'm dropping out of college. It's not what I wanted to do anyways. It was a waste of money. It was a waste of time. Even if I was going to have no degree for the rest of my life, I heard stories, and I heard so many stories from people that were much older than me and had much more experience than me that said they got their college degree and they literally have never used it. And that terrified me. So I'm like, why the fuck would I spend all of this money getting a college degree and then I don't even end up using it? And so I'm like, dude, yeah, no, I'm just going to drop out of college. Like, this is pointless. And yes, it was scary. Yes, it was a very terrifying decision. Yes, it made me uncomfortable. But at the end of the day, it's what I needed to do to get to where I wanted to be. Then I started making, with all that extra free time that I had, going into my second year of college in terms of the time frame, but not actually going to college. I had the full day. I was still living with my parents in my parents' basement. I had the full day now to just focus on doing sales and getting really, really good at it, building my skill sets, making as much money as possible with Alex. And we just locked in. We had a shared common goal of just scaling the business to $50,000 a month so that we could get paid half of it, making 15 to 25K per month. I started traveling, started doing all the fun stuff. And like, yes, during this time, I was probably working more hours than just a regular 9 to 5 job, but life was honestly really good at this point. And I was a full cycle sales rep. So for those of you who are familiar with sales, I was doing both closing and setting inside of the same business, which if you know anything about sales, you know that that's pretty difficult in terms of the work ethic with what you have to do. Because I was taking anywhere from 3 to 6 Zoom calls every single day. And I was also doing appointment setting sporadically throughout those sales calls in the DMs on Instagram. So I was a full cycle sales rep, making anywhere from 10K per month at the absolute lowest to like 22K per month. I think it was like the record month. And after doing that, this is kind of where I get like a dead space in my story, because I basically just did that for like a year and a half, and I kind of just like rinsed that all the way through like 2022 and like majority of the way through 2023. I was basically just waking up, taking sales calls, doing DMs every single day, just monotonously every day. Not monotonously, because I tried to improve my skill set too over time, but things were going pretty good for myself. And so this is like the real beauty on high ticket sales, is like you can get to a point where you're making 10 to 20K per month doing it, and you can kind of just rinse it for a little bit. And I'll talk about like where you should go based on your journey in a second in this video, but I'm more just talking about like my story here. Then I got to a certain point where after like a year and a half of doing this just over and over again, I kind of got to the point where I was a little bit frustrated in terms of just having to do all of this work for a year and a half, because appointment setting and closing as a hybrid every day, 7 days a week, if you have a good work ethic, you'll be able to do it for a long time like I did, but you'll eventually get to a point, even if you have amazing work ethic, which I would consider that I did, where I was just like, yeah, dude, this is just getting a little bit too much. Like I wasn't able to actually go out and enjoy life as much as I wanted to or could. And so then we actually hired an appointment setter to take care of the appointment setting for me so that I could just focus on doing closing. And then we had this appointment setter that was doing the appointment setting, and his name is Fabio. Fabio, shout out to you if you're watching this video. His name is Fabio though, and I had direct responsibility for training him up, getting him good, giving him the scripts. This was also the first role that he really got experience on with working with us. And so I basically every day consisted of taking my sales calls and then training Fabio. That was pretty much my entire day. That's what it looked like. I was still getting paid quite well to do this. And also I started developing a lot of passion and it was just a lot of fun training up a setter and watching a setter be able to do what I did, which is go from having like a level 1 skill set to getting to like a level 10 out of 10 skill set over time. And that progression is just very addicting and very fun. And so I started developing an affinity and just love, honestly, for being able to help people go from zero. I wouldn't say Fabio was at zero, but he was at like literally, like he wasn't the best at the beginning, but helping him get better and become exceptional was fun. And so what I started doing in my free time is I started working with other young guys that were also tired of the education system. They didn't want to work some regular schmegular job that just pays you enough just to survive, but doesn't actually give you enough money to be able to enjoy life and to be able to go out and travel and to be able to experience different cultures and do a bunch of random hobbies, be able to travel. Like, this is what I started wanting to teach other people because I developed an affinity for it. So I started teaching people for literally like dirt cheap, just because I had fun doing it. And that's more or less like what I do now. That's what I do with this YouTube channel. I mean, it's not the only thing that I do. In fact, I'm drinking this energy drink, which you might have seen in the video, because after this video, when I'm done recording it, I have a ton of work to do of like managing other sales teams and helping other coaches scale their business with content systems and stuff like that. But on the side, I run this business that I talk about on YouTube where I help young guys go through the exact same journey that I was able to go down. And honestly, like, making videos like this is genuinely, like, hopefully you can see this. It's genuinely one of the most fun things that I can do, is just giving advice and passing down information to the younger me on like what I wish I knew. Because at the end of the day, like, I firmly believe that this is my calling from God, of being able to teach young guys how they can avoid doing stuff that they were presupposed to thinking that they had to do, with you have to go down the college route and you have to go work a 9-to-5 job. I love being able to teach people that there is an alternative route. It's going to take work. It's not going to be easy. You're going to have to become very disciplined, and you're going to have to show up every single day, and you're going to have to quit all your bad habits. But you can do it. And being able to now help other people like I did with Fabio, but then also other people inside of my one-on-one coaching program, like Callum, like Tommy, Jared. There's a bunch more that are slipping my mind right now, but being able to help them start making money online for themselves so that they're able to experience what I experienced when I first started seeing my first breakthroughs. It's one of the best feelings ever. And so I say all of that to say, with my story now, with now making over $900,000 online, just lately, I kind of like passed that mark. And I think in the next couple of months here, I'll be at over $1 million online by the age of 23, because my birthday is in May. I say all that to say, though, number one, if you're not happy with the education system and you're not happy with the life path and the life trajectory that you're going down, it's no one else's but your own responsibility to make a change. And number two is that there's a bunch of different business models online, and everybody claims that they have the best business model. And I try to refrain from using stuff like that because I think it's just shitty marketing. Everybody claims that they have the best business model and that if you try their business model and buy their course, that it's going to be the magic bullet that makes you all this money online. The reality is you can make any business model work. The problem is most people can't make any business model work because they lack skill sets. When you have skill sets, you can make any business model work. And so if you've tried a bunch of different business models before, or maybe if you're just smart enough and understanding that you don't want to go down the path of failing with business models for like 6 months, what you need to understand is that you need high income skill sets to make a lot of these business models work. Like dropshipping. When I first got started, I burnt a ton of money on ads, and $300 was a ton of money for me. Now, if I try dropshipping, I actually have money. I actually have skills. I actually have experiences with scaling businesses. There's a very high likelihood that I could crush it with dropshipping now, as opposed to earlier, it was like almost impossible. Literally the only difference is now I have money and I have skills. And so what I think as a complete beginner, what you should do instead of trying all these different business models, especially if you failed with some of them, or you just want to avoid that path entirely, is you should go in and you should do sales inside of an online coaching or an online course type of business. Because when you do sales, you're going to force yourself to build a high income skill set, the skill being sales, and this is going to help you get really, really good at something. Number two, you're going to be doing it inside of a business that's very efficient, and a lot of these businesses make a lot of money. In fact, I think inside of the Discord today, we posted a job opportunity. I'm just pulling it up on my computer right now. We posted a job opportunity with a business that is making $6 million a month. It's like an AI offer, helping businesses implement AI into their business. Like, if you are able to go inside of a business that's making $6 million a month and help them and see the ins and outs of how they run their business and get that experience, that is infinitely more valuable than trying dropshipping for a month, losing money on Facebook ads and getting dusted. Then, once you land a role as like an appointment setter, what I'd recommend doing is transitioning into closing. And a lot of people make good money with appointment setting and they just want to stay in appointment setting. And I get it to a certain extent. But what I think is a lot more valuable is learning how to get into doing closing, because you should learn the skill of how to speak and how to articulate yourself on camera, on a Zoom call. And it's like really uncomfortable for me, especially too. I was an introvert my entire life. So like having to do that was super uncomfortable, but it's one of the most valuable things. And I credit a lot of my success today because of that, because I just decided to do that scary thing and start to build the skill of sales, even when I literally sucked in the beginning. Again, one day maybe I'll release my 2021 and my 2022 sales calls because I have them all still on my computer. Then when you do closing, you'll get to a point, at least this is what I experienced, where you're making 10 to 20K per month, and you'll be able to kind of just like rinse that for a little bit. You can transition as well into being a hybrid or a full cycle sales rep where you're doing both closing and appointment setting. For me, I got to that point and I rinsed that for like a year and a half before I decided to do anything. After you do that for a year and a half, you'll stack some cash. You'll have a ton of skills under your belt. You'll have a good amount of experience under your belt. Then from there, you can make a play to start your own business, whether it's getting into management, whether it's starting a course or a coaching program yourself, whether it's building an agency, whether it's going back and making some of those other business models like drop shipping and affiliate marketing. Maybe you want to try some of those and make them work. The reality is, though, is it's just a smarter and a more efficient and a more optimal way of doing things as a beginner. So, trying to think if there's anything else that I wanted to cover in this video. Off the top of my head, no. That was pretty much like my full story. Just to kind of recap, got into making money online because I wasn't happy with the path that I was going down. Got on TikTok, got on Instagram, got on YouTube, started looking into ways to make money online just in my free time while I was going to college at 19 years old. Honestly, this is just a little side tangent, but when I would see videos on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube of guys talking about how to make money online, it pissed me off. Not even from the sense of me being like jealous or envious of them. I guess maybe there was some of that. I would see videos of these people though, and them flexing their cars and their watches on social media. A lot of people get like inspired by that stuff. For me, I just got angry, dude. And I'm not even that materialistic myself. Like, but I just watched that stuff and it just, dude, I don't know what it was, but it just pissed me off. And it actually, like, I'm thankful for it because it gave me more fuel to the fire. It made me just want to make it happen that much more. Got into making money online, tried a bunch of different business models, realized that I lacked the skill sets, realized the dark realization, which is that most businesses on the market just make their money by selling courses and coaching programs. And so the reality is you should go inside of one of these businesses, help them make more money because it's an efficient business. Built the skill of sales, started becoming an appointment setter, balanced it while I was full-time in college and while I was working a 30-hour-a-week job as a lifeguard. Started making some decent money for myself, started building the confidence in my skill sets. Quit my job, dropped out of college, had the uncomfortable conversation with my parents. I was living in my parents' basement for a while, just doing sales and appointment setting. I did that for like a year. Then I moved out and I did it for like another half a year to a year. And then we hired Fabio. I started teaching people these skills of sales that I had developed in my journey of becoming a full cycle sales rep for like a year and a half. Started realizing that it's really, really fun teaching people skill sets, helping people advance themselves down their own journey. And came to the realization that now, as just like a side business and a side project with what I do now on YouTube, I really enjoy actually teaching people these skill sets, and it is my passion and it is my purpose and my calling, as a lot of people call it, from God on this planet. I think it is, at least, and it could obviously change over the future, but that's what I feel now. So with that being said, if you watch this video all the way until the end and you understand that working with somebody who has already gone down this full journey and has made a ton of mistakes and has learned a ton of skill sets and has learned a ton of experiences and stuff like that, if you think that working with somebody like that, referring to myself, could help you make it more likely that you actually succeed and make it that you can speed up that journey for yourself, then what I do on the side, like I just said, is I help guys go through this exact same process of making money online. I first help you become a DM appointment setter if you have no experience. If you have experience, then it's going to be a little bit different. But I first help you become a DM appointment setter. Then I help you become a phone appointment setter. Then I help you become a closer. Then I help you become a full cycle sales rep. And I've now helped numerous guys go through this exact same process because I've been doing this on the side now for like a year. And so I've gotten very consistent at it. And just like a side little note and a side little flex, if I'm being honest, I'm not even the best in the world at the skill of sales. Like, I certainly have things that I could be improving on every single day. But what I am very, very good at, and I would argue that I'm literally the best in the entire market at doing this, is helping complete beginners with no experience and nothing of actual tangible value to themselves. Number one, build a base skill of sales. And then number two, get a good job. This is what I'm really good at. In fact, inside of my Discord here, we post anywhere from 10 to 20 job opportunities on a daily basis, with businesses making as little as like $50,000 a month to as high as like $6 million a month. I said that earlier, $6 million a month, that are actively hiring beginners. And I show you how you can, even if you have no experience, how you can articulate this in a way that actually makes businesses and managers want to actually hire you. And then when you do land these positions, how do you actually go into these businesses and actually perform for them so that you can make money and not get like fired immediately? So I don't even think that I'm the best in the world at like, what do you say? How do you deal with these objections? Like that type of sales. What I'm very, very good at is getting people on jobs, taking complete beginners that have no experience and finding a way to articulate anything that they have to their name that they can use as ammo to make themselves have like a very attractive profile for these businesses to want to hire you. So if that's what you're looking for, then I'm the perfect guy to work with you. I run a one-on-one coaching program. Like I said, I teach you the base level skill of sales. Then I place you inside of one of these businesses where we have 10 to 20 of these businesses that are hiring on a daily basis. Then once you're inside of one of these businesses, I help you build up your skill set so that you can get better over time and you can progress through this ladder of DM setting, phone setting, closing, full cycle sales rep, and you can start getting to the point where you're making 10K per month or more online, so that you can basically do what I did, which is have financial, time, and location freedom, and then be able to start businesses on the side, not because you need money or profit, but just literally just because it's fun. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. Hopefully I give you guys some sauce. Let me know if you like content like this with absolutely no edits, just completely raw and completely organic. And you guys take care and have a fantastic rest of your day. Okay, peace.